Good morning, students. So, today we are starting with the new chapter, which is from the subject Geography, and this is lecture 1 of chapter number 4, Agriculture, class 10, subject Geography. So, till now in Geography, you have studied about resources and development, then we have talked about forest and its wildlife resources, then water resources. Now in this particular chapter, we are going to cover one more important component from the environment, which is very essential for our livelihood and for our well-being, and which is particularly giving us all the food items that are there, which is agriculture. So in this particular chapter, we are going to talk about all the types of farming things, cropping patterns, and a lot more things that we are going to cover in this chapter. So the things that we are going to cover in this particular lecture will be the topics that we to be covered here will be, first of all, I am going to give you a quick introduction about the chapter, what is the chapter all about, then what is agriculture. So we'll talk about what is basically agriculture, then types of farming. So they are major, what kind of farmings are there that we include in India, what kind of farming we do in India, we'll talk about that. Then cropping patterns, so there are majorly different types of cropping pattern we use. We'll talk about that, but not in brief today. We'll talk that in the future lectures, maybe tomorrow. So basically we are going to cover these topics. Then I am going to give you the homework solution that I have given you in the previous lecture, and the homework that I am going to assign you in this particular lecture. So this will be covered in this particular lecture. So let's get started with this new chapter, and please get ready, be attentive and listen to me very carefully. So first of all, I am going to introduce you with this chapter, which is agriculture. So India is an agriculturally important country. So as we all know, most of the people around us who are living in this rural part of India are doing all the agriculture work, and from where our 2/3 of its population is engaged in this agriculture activities only. So basically our 2/3 of the population that is there in India, it is basically engaged in all the agriculture activities, and they are basically doing only the primary activities which is associated with making the crops and building them in some way or the other. So basically what they are doing, agriculture is a kind of a primary activity which they are producing. They are producing all the major food items, food grains, and particularly whatever food you are eating, where it is coming from. So it is coming from majorly from the shops where you are getting from, but these shops must be getting all the food grains from some places, and those places also get the crops from these primary activities only. So how it all functions and how all is involved, they are basically involved in one activity, which is agriculture. So agriculture is one of the most important sector for us, because they are providing us all the food related things, food related ingredients that we require on a daily basis. So agriculture is the primary activity which produces most of the food that we consume. Besides that, food grains is also produce raw material for various industries. So there are major industries of like tea, coffee, spices, and all other things. There are now industries, and they supply and export these in number of the countries as well, and in their own interstates of consumption is also there. So if one state is producing one kind of a substance, they are supplying it to other states as well. So that's how it works. So we are going to talk about these different types of agriculture activities now. So what are basically that? Agriculture, this is by a code that has been given, that agriculture is the most helpful, most useful, and most noble employment of man. So what is agriculture all about? Agriculture is the most helpful, most useful, and most noble employment of men here, because from it is the one who is providing us food. So that's why food is something that is very helpful. It is most useful in our day-to-day life, and most noble kind of employment for a men can do, because providing them food is the most noble thing any person can do on the earth. Providing some sort of food to a person is the most noble employment of men here. Now, what is agriculture? So basically it is a scientific statement that has been given to here, but basically agriculture is a science only. It's a science and a mixture of art of cultivating plants and livestock. So it's a kind of a genetic definition that you can write in your exam as well, but in a simple way that I could tell you, agriculture is just a way to provide food through some different ways, different variations from where you can make this food and provide them to the people who are going to eat this. So it's a particularly a mixture of science and art both, because you are using your technologies now. So the improvement of science is there because we are using a lot of technologies here. So science is basically technology, and art basically the ways we are doing it. So the way there are many different ways of farming, there are different ways of cropping, so that is art. So the mixture of both is cultivating plants and livestock, basically planting these food grains and all these things. So what is this? Agriculture is the mixture of both these things for providing the food to the people around us, cultivating these plants and livestock. So agriculture was the key development in the rise of sedentary human civilization. So basically it is the development for the rise of our own human civilization. So basically it is helping the human standard only. So what we are eating healthy or not, what kind of multiple crops that are there we are providing to the people around us. So that is basically sedentary human civilization, whereby farming to domesticated spices created by food surpluses that enabled people to live in cities. So basically this is quite a systematic statement that I have been given here. You can write these in your answers, but in a simple way that I have taught you what agriculture do majorly. Now there are different types of farming as well. So if you are talking about agriculture, it's a kind of a very old thing that has been running from ages to ages. Now there are majorly different types of farming as well. So agriculture is an age-old economic activity in our country, because the farmers are producing the crops and they are selling it to the other people so that they can make other things from it, and they are giving them money. So agriculture was because there was not an educated sector before that. People were uneducated, illiterate. They only know one thing, that was agriculture. So they were following that only. So agriculture was an age-old economic activity in our country, and over these years cultivation methods have changed significantly depending upon the characteristics of physical environment, technological know-how and socio-cultural practices. So basically in all these years the farming methods have also been cultivated. It is also being changed. So previously they were using their animals, they were using their cattle and all these things to do these farming works, but now things have been changed, methods have been changed. It is developing now. The characteristics of this physical environment, technological things have been developed. So it is all changing and evolving from that period till now. So what were the changes that happened, and what were the types of farming that came up? So we'll talk about here that farming varies from subsistence to commercial type. So farming varies from a subsistence, which is coming from an initial stages, to some commercial types as well. Means from a surviving age to some commercial type. At present, in different parts of India, the following farming systems are practiced. So we'll talk about what are the current farming systems that have been practiced in India. So we'll talk about that here. First of all, it is primitive subsistence farming. So primitive subsistence farming, what is all about? So this type of farming is still practiced in few pockets of India. So it is not currently there is not majorly they are following this primitive subsistence farming. It is only working and practiced in few pockets of India only, because this primitive subsistence agriculture is practiced on small patches of land. So it doesn't involve big large patches of land, it involves only small patches of land with the help of primitive tools like hoe, dao and digging sticks. So basically hoe dao is like जिससे आप वो मिट्टी निकालते हो, that is hoe dao, and digging sticks are also there, that you all know, and family community laborers are there. means जिनका फार्म होता है वही लोग इसी फार्म में वर्क करते हैं, एंड द फैमिली ऑल टुगेदर वर्क इन दैट पर्टिकुलर पैच एंड मेक द क्रॉप्स. So this type of farming depends upon monsoon, natural fertility of the soil and susceptibility of other environmental conditions to the crops grown. So basically this type of farming is dependent on monsoon. So they are using all the natural substances, they are not using any sort of pesticides or chemicals in their farming type. So they are all dependent on the monsoon, all the natural fertility they are using of the soil, and they are not mixing it with the any other sort of things. So this is basically they are dependent on monsoon, natural fertility of the soil and suitability of other environmental conditions for the crop growth. So they are not using any sort of pesticides here. It is all natural. It is a slash and burn agriculture. So what is slash and burn agriculture? So farmer basically clear a patch of land and produce cereals and other crops to sustain their family. So basically they are cleaning a small patch from the land area, they are cleaning all the things that is there, they are cleaning that particular area and they are producing their sort of crops, whatever they want to produce in that particular land to sustain their family, so that they can get the meal for their own families. They are not supplying to much of the people, they are basically sustaining these particular crops for their own survival only. So when the soil fertility decreases, if the soil fertility decreases there, the farmers shift and clear a fresh patch of land for cultivation. So if that particular area soil fertility is decreasing for that particular patch area, they started with the new area, so the farmers shift that area and clear a fresh patch of land and they cultivate that again. So that's how it's work, and this type of shifting allows nature to replenish the fertility of the soil through natural processes. So basically this type of shifting allows nature to replenish the fertility of the soil through some natural processes like land productivity. There is this type of agriculture is low as the farmer does not use fertilizers or any other modern inputs here. So basically it is all natural process because they are not using any sort of fertilizer or any modern inputs in this particular type of farming here. So this particular land productivity increases natural products and it never replenished to with the fertility of the soil here, because they are using all the natural systems. It is known by different names in different parts of the country as well. So this type of farming is known by different names in different parts of the countries as well. What are they known for? So it is Juming, it is one of the name that is given to some of the areas. Juming in northeastern states like Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Nagaland, and Mamploi in Manipur, Dibba in Bastar district of Chhattisgarh, and Andaman and Nicobar Island as well. So all these areas are using this type of primitive subsistence farming that they have named it as Juming. So they call this kind of farming as Juming there. So Juming is the flash and burn agriculture, is known as Milpa in Mexico. So in other countries they call this type of farming as Milpa in Mexico, and Central America say it as Conuco. In Central America also they call it Milpa, sorry. And Conuco in Venezuela, Roca in Brazil, Masule in Central Africa, and Lagang in Indonesia, Ray in Vietnam. So they call this, we call in India Juming as a primitive subsistence farming, and in other kind of land area in other countries they call these names. These names are given as Juming there. In India, this primitive form of cultivation is called Bevar or Daya in Madhya Pradesh, Podu or Penda in Andhra Pradesh, Pama Dabi or Koman or Brinja in Odisha, Kumari in Western Ghats, and Valdre in South Asian, Rajasthan Khil in the Himalayan belt, and Puruava in Jharkhand, and Juming in the northeastern region. So in other parts of the other states that are there in India, they call this primitive form of cultivation as these particular names that is given here. So in different states they call this kind of primitive form in cultivation in these names only. So they have given certainly different names to in their own states. So next type of farming is intensive subsistence farming. So in this type of farming, it is practiced in areas of high population pressure on land. So this type of farming is practiced in only areas where there is high population pressure on land, because it is labor intensive farming. So where high doses of biochemical inputs and irrigation are used for obtaining higher production. So they are using basically those particular land in which they are actually known as labor intensive farming. So they use certainly biochemicals and irrigation forms for higher production, so that they can sell it at a good price there, and they can use a large labor force here. So basically it is quite intensive because they are using large labor force, they are using biochemical inputs for irrigation and obtaining higher production from these types of farming. So basically it is for the areas of high population pressure only. And through this, the right of inheritance leading to the division of land among successive generations has rendered land holding size uneconomical, and the farmer continue to take maximum outcome from the limited land in the absence of alternative sources of livelihood. Thus there is enormous pressure on agricultural land here. So basically what they are trying to say here is that they are using these particular limited land is given to them, and on this limited land they are producing a large amount of production, so that these all the land holdings are there, all the land holders are there, they are using these basically they are using these land area for their own alternative use of livelihood only. So they are using, if there is basically in rural areas, if we talk about in all the rural areas that are there in Bihar or in any other rural areas we talk about, they are a large population and they need to survive in some way or the other. So they particularly use these kind of land for, because the population rate is high, they need more food for them, so they use a lot of different pesticides and biochemicals for more production for their own livelihood only. So they are not using it for some commercial purposes, they are not selling much, they are basically investing in their particular area only, where there are number of families who are living, where there is high population, that's it, nothing else. So they are not using these kind of farming for commercial purposes, they are using for their own livelihood only. So there is basically enormous pressure on such kind of agricultural land, because they have to produce a lot amount of food for the high population that are living in that particular land. So, and the third one here, that is the most important one here, is the commercial farming, which we are getting also, and the farmers sell for their to get some earning in one way or the other. So the main characteristic of this type of farming is the use of higher dose of modern inputs, which is HYV, which is high yielding variety seeds, chemical fertilizers, insecticides and pesticides in order to obtain higher productivity. So basically these commercial farming are using all the modern techniques here. They are using chemicals, they are using fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides and HYV seeds. So basically they are using all these things so that they get higher production, and with higher production they can sell it off in other parts of the states and other parts of the countries as well, so that they can earn a lot of amount from their production. So the degree of commercialization of agriculture varies from one region to another. So this kind of degree of commercialization farming of agriculture, it varies from one region to another. So basically For example, rice is a commercial crop of Haryana and Punjab, but in Odisha it is a subsistence crop. So majorly if one crop is rich in one type of area, it is going to cultivate in that particular area only, and if it is not, they are not going to produce it in such a large number. They are going to produce it in a limited number only. So it all depend on the fertility of the soil. So if Haryana and Punjab are good in producing rice and wheat, they are going to use that particular land for these commercial farming is used in for rice only, not anything else. They are subsequently using this particular crop if it is not there in other parts, so they are majorly going to produce rice only in their particular regions or in their particular land. Then there is plantation also. Plantation is also a type of commercial farming. In this type of farming, a single crop is grown on a large area. So basically in plantation is also type of farming only. It is a type of commercial farming only. Basically in this type of farming, only a single crop is grown on a large area. They are not producing any other crop there. Like if we talk about Shillong or in Assam, they are producing majorly tea only in that particular land, nothing else. So in such kind of land area, they are producing only single crop which is grown on such large areas. And the plantation has an interference of agriculture and industry. So basically all the plantation, all the area that they are covering, they are producing the same crop, and they are producing it, they are having the same kind of industry in that particular area only. So whatever crop field they are having the same sort of industry of that crop only, where it is manufactured. So they are both are having an interrelation with each other. Now the plantations cover large tracts of land using capital intensive inputs. With the help of migrant laborers, all the produce is used as raw material in respective industries. So basically in this plantation, they cover a large areas which is capital intensive. So basically they are landowners. They are giving all the migrant laborers, basically they are taking the laborers into them, and they are giving them wages on a day-to-day basis to build the plants and build these crops there in that particular land. And all the crops that are building there, all the amount that is produced there, that is used by the industries as a raw material in their kind of manufacturing industries and other things. Like in India, tea, coffee, rubber, sugarcane, banana, etc. are important plantation crops only. So majorly which we use on a daily basis, tea, coffee, rubber, sugarcane, banana, etc. These kind of crops, they are an important plantation crops in India. Tea in Assam that I told you about, tea basically is a kind of a plantation crop that they produce single-handedly, and in North Bengal they produce coffee, in Karnataka also, and are in some of the important plantation crops grow in these states only. So these, since the production is mainly for market, a well-developed network of transport and communication connecting the plantation areas, processing industries and markets play as an important role in the development of plantation here. So basically they are producing it for the market only, to sell it out. So there is a connection between all the things that are there. So they are all the things who are producing it, they are selling it to the industries, and they have a well-developed network for the transportation communication through which it is going to other parts of the states and other parts of the where there are other industries who process these crops and give these basically items to mainstream items, and they sell in the market. So basically it's a kind of a network that is related with the market, the production area, transportation and communication. So all these things are connected with each other, and they are processing industries and market play an important role in the development of these plantation type of farming. Now there is another topic that is quite important here. So I am just going to give you a brief introduction about this topic. We are going to discuss about this topic in our next lecture. So that is cropping pattern. So we have talked about the type of farming here. Now there is cropping pattern. So it is quite different from our weather conditions, from the crop to crop that we have just talked about. So it is going to we are going to discuss in this topic that only. So you have studied the physical diversity and plurality of cultures in India. So basically these are also reflected in agriculture practices and cropping patterns in the country. So basically you have studied that there are physical diversity in our in India. Basically in south areas the monsoon is quite high, and in our north area we basically feel a lot of in majorly there is summer, then there is monsoon, not majorly there is not monsoon there, then winter is also quite high. So we face a lot of physical diversity in our kind of area, but in other regions you can't feel the same sort of physical diversity. So it is all changing. So weather is changing, the conditions are changing, and the crop patterns will also change from region to region. So these are also reflected in the agriculture practices and cropping patterns in our country as well. So there are various types of food and fiber crops that are there in India, and vegetables and fruits, spices and condiments etc. are being there and built and produced in different parts of the region. So they use different cropping patterns for each different types of food which they are producing and fiber crop they are producing. So the constitute some of the important crops grown in our country. India has 3 cropping seasons. So basically there are 3 seasons that reflect in the crop pattern also, which is Rabi, Kharif and Zaid. So basically in these different types of season, different types of food and fiber crops are produced, and how they are produced we are going to discuss in our next lecture. Till now you should know that there are 3 types of cropping season, which is Rabi, Kharif and Zaid. So this is lecture number 1. We have covered till the introduction of cropping pattern. We discussed about types of farming. Let's just have a recap what we have just talked about. So we have talked about the type of farming. So over years, cultivation methods in India have changed significantly depending upon the characteristics of physical environment, technological and know-how and social culture practices as well. So that's how it is all changing because of the physical environment, because technological and socio-cultural practices that we are changing. So the farming also varies from subsistence to the commercial farming now. At present, in different parts of India, the following farming system are practiced, which are in 3 categories, and there is one more, that is plantation. The first is primitive subsistence farming, second intensive subsistence farming, and third commercial farming. And there is a, did you know that agriculture is the largest livelihood provider in our rural areas? So primitive subsistence farming, you can see here how they basically clean the area. So this type of farming is still practiced in few places in India. It is practiced on small patches with the help of primitive tools like hoe, dhow and digging sticks and family or community labors. This type of farming depends upon monsoon, natural fertility of the soil and sustainability of other environmental conditions. It is also called slash and burn cultivation. Farmers clean a patch of land and produce crops to sustain their family. When soil fertility decreases, the farmers shift and start cultivating in the same way on a fresh patch of land, and this allows nature to replenish the fertility of the soil. Productivity in this type of farming is low as fertilizers or modern inputs are not used here. So there are different names of slash and burn cultivation here. In India it is this, and in the world it is given this particular type of farming in this kind of names. So in India, in northeast state they are called at Juming, Manipur, Pamlo, Chhattisgarh, Dibba. You can just relate to the names. In different state in India they are given this primitive sustainable farming in they have given different names to this kind of farming there in different states, and in the world they call this kind of farming in this kind of names. Now the second one is intensive subsistence farming. So this type of farming is practiced in areas of high population pressure on land, and it is labor intensive farming where high doses of biochemical inputs and irrigation are used for obtaining higher production. Through the right of inheritance leading to the division of land among successive generations has rented land holding size uneconomical. The farmers continue to take maximum output from the limited land in the absence of alternative sources of livelihood. Thus, there is enormous pressure on agricultural land here. So basically they are including a lot of labor force here. They are producing a large amount of all the crops here, but for their own livelihood only, not for the commercial purpose. So did you know that 12% of world's farmland is in India? So if we talk about the farm land area, which is around entire world, 12% is there in India only. Now the third form of farming is commercial farming. In this type of farming, higher doses of modern inputs like HYV seeds are used, chemical fertilizers, insecticides and pesticides are used in order to obtain higher productivity. The degree of commercialized varies from region to region. For example, rice is a commercial crop on Punjab and Haryana, but in Odisha it is a subsequent crop. Now plantation is one of the type of commercial farming only. It is a type of farming in which a single crop is grown on a large area, and the plantation has an interface of agriculture and industry. Plantation use capital intensive inputs with the help of migrant laborers, and all the produce is used as raw material in the respective industries of different crop fibers which are sent to them. Now tea plantations are there in Assam and North Bengal. Coffee plantations are there in Karnataka. Banana plantation in southern part of India. Rubber plantation in Kerala. Bamboo plantation in northeast India. And some important plantation crops grow in India only. Since the production is mainly for the market, a well-developed network of transport and communication connecting the plantation area and processing industries and markets is present here. Now there was a cropping pattern. So India has 3 cropping seasons. They are Rabi, Kharif and Zaid. So they are the 3 type of cropping seasons here. We will talk about this in our next lecture. Now about the homework solution. So in our previous lecture I have given you few of the questions to do as homework. So these were the questions. Explain 3 steps by the French to achieve their aim to exploit the natural resources from Vietnam. Second question, what were the conditions of colonial economy in Vietnam? Explain. Third, explain any 5 features of Go East movement. Fourth, why did French policy makers do educate the people of Vietnam? Explain. So answer number 1. The French began building canals and draining lands in the Mekong Delta to increase cultivation. As a result of irrigation works, the rice production increased. Vietnam became the 3rd largest exporter of rice in the world. Trans-Indo-China rail network was constructed and it linked the northern and southern part of Vietnam and China. Another line linking Vietnam to Siam, which is Thailand, via the Cambodian capital Phnom Penh was also built, and to ensure higher level of profits, French pressurized the government to develop infrastructure as well. Answer number 2. The following was the condition of the colonial economy in Vietnam. First, the economy of colonial Vietnam was primarily based on the cultivation of rice and rubber plantation dominated by the French and a small group of the elite Vietnamese. Second, the French colonists made some attempts to improve the condition of the economy of Vietnam. For instance, they set up port and rail facilities and used indurated labor to increase the production of rubber. Third, the French colonists opposed what Bernard would have liked and made some reform to industrialize the economy of Vietnam. As landlordism spread in the rural areas, so the standard of living also dwindled. Answer number 3. In first decade of 20th century, this movement was launched. And second, about 300 Vietnamese nationalist students had to go to acquire modern education. Third, the primary objective was to drive out French from Vietnam. Fourth, Nguyen dynasty was to re-establish. Fifth, foreign arms and help were the main point for the nationalists. This is answer number 4. The French policy makers want to educate the people of Vietnam because first they want to introduce the Vietnamese people to Western culture. Second, they wanted to expand their power over Vietnam through education. Third, they want to spread French influence. Fourth, they also want to neutralize the influence of Chinese, which was widespread in Vietnamese. Fifth, they also wanted to the people to know about the importance and greatness of French culture. So this is whole as a homework solution. Now the homework for this particular lecture is write in your own words about the type of farming you will prefer over others and why. So it is quite a activity for you only, that you have to write in your own words that what kind of farming that you will prefer, and you have to explain that also, what type of farming you are preferring and why you are preferring over others. You have to tell that in your answer. So that's a very small homework that I want to give you, assign you in this particular lecture. And one more thing, on Friday you are going to have a test from geography only, from chapter number 1, which I haven't taken, and it is also coming in your boards. So it is important you start revising that chapter, and if you have queries from that chapter, you can let me know, so that in the coming lectures I can cover that. Before Friday, you just let me know if you have queries from that particular chapter. You are going to have that test on Friday, on 5th of June, and the timing will be 9 to 10. Still you have queries from that particular chapter, you can tell me before Friday. I will let you know and I will clear all your doubts in my future lectures. So this is whole as a lecture. If you have queries, you can tell me in the comment section or in the student query section. Just take care of your health and your family as well. Thank you so much.